Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Our guy Sharief Ishaq from WDSU, been at Saints camp for a couple of weeks, joins us now. Sharief, how are you?
Not hot.
Not
They didn't
hot.
practice.
Are you inside?
Well, yeah, they didn't practice, so I'm not hot. So
Oh,
I
well,
feel
that's
good.
good. Yeah, just taking a day. I understand. While they're not practicing, they are in fact signing new players, and it sounds like Anthony Barr and Kareem Hunt are next up, pending a physical change. What say you about these two signings?
Look, hey man, they need bodies at both positions. Could use a little depth. I mean, I've been saying this for quite some time now. What if Demario Davis or Pete Werner goes down, and now Demario Davis is down with a calf injury? Dennis Allen thinks it's minor, doesn't think it's going to be a long situation. But still, regardless, in the season, if somebody goes out in that position, who do you have behind those two guys? And at least you bring in Anthony Barr. I know he's been dealing with a lot of injury issues over the last few seasons, pectoral, knee, hamstring. But you have to create some kind of veteran depth there, because even if they didn't sign him, I'm like, who? I mean, Andrew Dowell got hurt; he's out for the season. Nephi Sewell, I mean, and maybe DeMarco Jackson, the guy they drafted last year out of App State. They just, I think that this was the right move. You have to bring in some kind of veteran presence to that linebacker room. It doesn't hurt. I always say it doesn't hurt to create depth in any situation, especially at linebacker. And then Kareem Hunt, I mean, he was the rushing champion in his rookie year in 17 with the Chiefs. I know it's not 17 anymore, but once again, Kamara suspended for the first 3 games. You lose, Benjamin last week. He's out for the season. You don't know if another injury happens. And you bring in a guy who's a little versatile. I understand, like, he's in his 7th year, just like AK, but I like the move. You have to have options. You have to have options at that position more than anything, because last season that really hurt the Saints, not to have another running back, behind the main 2 guys in Ingram and Kamara.
So for the first 3 weeks, we understand the 3 bodies that will likely be out there. Hunt now added to the Saints running back room. How do you think that what do those roles look like until Kamara gets back?
I think Jamal Williams, gets the bulk of the carries. He is the guy who's your bruiser. He can also, give you a little breakaway from here and there. I think, I think that they probably sold Kareem Hunt on, you're just not a third down back, because I think that's where Cleveland messed up a little bit. They didn't use him the right way. I think you can kind of use him somewhat in the Alvin Kamara role, maybe not the full role like Alvin Kamara, but you could use him in the passing and running game a little bit better than Cleveland used him. You sell him on that. That could be your top 2 backs, and then you throw Kendre Miller in there for a little mix-up. Kendre is still like in the process of learning. He has also coming off a knee injury, so you don't want to completely throw him in there right away. At least let him learn that playbook, learn the offense a little bit more. I mean, of course, that Kareem's going to have to learn it too with Derek Carr and the rest of the offense, but still, it doesn't hurt to throw a veteran guy in there to help out the rookie while Alvin Kamara is out. I always said, look, that's the position you can't hurt to have more players in.
For sure. Anthony Barr and Kareem Hunt look to be the newest 2 New Orleans Saints. Dennis Allen, I haven't heard the soundbite. I just read a little bit, but it sounded like, in terms of what I read, that he is a little bit irritated with the soft tissue injuries that have been popping up. Can you kind of update us on some of that?
Yeah, that's the one thing that he complimented last year. The soft tissue injuries were down last year, but that's what's biting them so far in this training camp when it comes to Andrus Pete's. His injury, his quad, and then Demario Davis's calf, the Traquan Smith, Rashid Shaheed, the groin injuries. So these are all injuries. But let me tell you one thing about Dennis Allen. He's telling us about all the injuries. It's not like this is anything secretive. He's telling us as his press conference opened, this is what happened, this guy, that guy, this guy. But those 4 names I mentioned are tissue injuries. And I think he just, it happens, man. It happens during training camp. And I think he's a little frustrated that's happening more often right now. I don't know if it's heat related. You get tired when it's super hot outside, and injuries just happen whenever you're fatigued. I think you're just starting to see he's getting a little frustrated with it. And it's nothing he can really do about the weather. I mean, they can practice indoors, and, they practice indoors and they lose a running back. And, he's out for the season with a knee injury. And it's just stuff like Achilles, with, Benjamin. Stuff happens with the soft tissue. I think it's because you're just simply tired from the heat, and maybe your body just isn't really adjusting to it that great whenever it's 105 degrees outside.
Jeff Duncan wrote a great column. I saw you reply to it on Twitter talking about, hey, all these injuries, they're piling up. There's got to be something to it with the heat. The Saints need to get out of Metairie. And we've seen them out of Metairie a good amount over the last 40 years, and it sounds like it's going to start next year and may continue. What do you know about that, and what do you think about that?
I wouldn't 100% say it's going to 100% happen. They may explore it. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Look, man, I don't play football. I'm not a big person. I don't know like why the Heat is doing it. I don't know if it's because of fatigue, but yeah, I get it. Look, going away, they did it for 3 years at the Greenbrier. The injuries were down, but it's still, man, injuries are going to happen in football. Some teams are doing it. They're training camps away from their actual home base. The Cowboys are all the way out in California. I don't know, man. You have an indoor facility. You have if you really want to practice indoors. But I understand you have to do it outside sometimes. But practice indoors, practice in the dome. Like, it's no guarantee they're going to leave, but they've done it under Jim Moore. They did it under Sean Payton. I mean, if they're going to do it, I guess they're going to do it. I mean, I guess it's not the worst of things. I mean, exploring the options of finding the way to to keep the players available during training camp doesn't hurt. But to me, I'm like, why not just practice indoors? And some of it has to do with their renovating some of their facility on Airline Drive, and they have to continue doing it next year. But it's no guarantee, in my opinion. But would I be surprised? No. But I wouldn't even know where they would explore going. Would they go back to the Greenbrier? I doubt it. Maybe they try something new. Would they go West Coast? And I just threw out San Diego because I was there. And I was like, oh, it's 75. It's beautiful. I mean, you can practice all day and break a sweat out there.
Cowboys are in Oxnard. It can be done every single year. I've read a lot and heard a lot of really positive stuff on Marshawn Lattimore. Have you seen that?
Yes, absolutely. He's locking down every single person he goes against, including Michael Thomas. Now, Mike isn't 2019 Mike, but boy, he has given Michael Thomas everything he wants. I think I've maybe seen Mike catch 2 passes against him in one-on-one drills or in team drills, but he has just been the best player in the entire camp for the Saints, and it's not even close. That's how good he's been. He has been just amazing over there on that side of the field.
Anything you'll be looking for in preseason game number 1 coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, I do want to see. I actually want to see how Jake Haener does. I remember last week you asked me who's creating some buzz that that maybe we don't talk enough about. I think Jake Haener has done a really good job throughout this entire camp. But I just want to see what it looks like whenever it's live action against another team.
Dennis Allen said it's likely he's going to play kind of his guys in the first game. I don't know what that means. It means a drive or a quarter or a half or what. But what do you expect to see from the Saints starters on Sunday?
Yeah, I could see the two series. Like put them out there for 2 series. Does that mean next week they do the same thing in LA against Chargers? Probably not. The joint practices I feel like have always been the most important practices for this team, and they're going to get back-to-back weeks of that with the Chargers and Texans here. I could see 2 series, maybe a quarter. I mean, that doesn't hurt at all. I mean, you got to get that chemistry. You got to build it a little bit in live action. I like it. I like the idea of playing your starters because it didn't work out last year when they didn't really play their starters in a preseason game, and they thought maybe, all right, well, whenever we get to the season, it'll be fine. We had all these practices. So I think you got to get them out there and play and build a little bit more of that continuity and chemistry. So I like that idea of DA adapting and, doing the opposite of what he did last season. And I think that's going to work out well. I mean, that's, Derek Carr probably wants to get out there, and the receivers, they want to get out there and make sure things can happen. And, hey, man, I'm all for it. If you want to throw your starters out there, let them get out there and get some reps.
Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU down there with the black and gold. A couple more questions here for you, Sharief. As far as on the offensive line, no change over the last week with Pete still being out and trying to get Hurst. Maybe you look down there at guard.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting Hurst at guard and getting Trevor Penning a lot more reps. And man, Trevor Penning he's getting better. I'll say he's getting better. I'm not going to just go out there and say, oh my God, he looks amazing. He's getting better, and you can see he's sealing off blocks. And James Hurst, look, man, I don't know. There's no guarantee Andrew Speed's going to have a starting spot. I'll just say that. I mean, the way James and Trevor are playing, it's going to be tough. I mean, that's why that I like the idea of Dennis creating a lot of competition. That was the first thing he talked about before training camp started, creating competition, and that was, one of the spots at the guard position. If, Andrew Peet isn't available to practice, James Hurst doesn't mind sliding in there and taking a spot. James Hurst has always been a guy who's available, and he's always a guy who can, play really well along that offensive line. So I think he has done well for the most part. There have been a lot of ups and downs with that offensive line and getting used to Derek Carr. But look, they'll get through it through these practices and the games they actually play in the preseason.
Now that the kind of buzz of, oh my God, he's back is kind of gone, is Jimmy Graham contributing? Is he getting a lot of reps, or is he kind of there to mentor some younger players?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, yeah, he's, mentoring Juwan Johnson, who, by the way, is also having a very solid camp. He and Derek Carr are really, really building this nice little chemistry. I mean, yesterday was 6 for 6 in a 2-minute offense. He caught 3 of those passes. But, yeah, Jimmy has done a good job of, mentoring some of the young guys like Juwan and Foster. But he's there for a specialized role. Let's be honest. At 36 years old, you can't teach height. When you're 6'6", 6'7", go up and get the ball, man. I don't think Joe Schmo or anybody who's 6 feet, 6'1" is going to outjump the guy. And you might say, well, he's 6'36". Who cares? The dude got height. You can't teach height. You throw that up one-on-one, yeah, he has to get the separation, get open, but you have him one-on-one inside the 10, I mean, it almost feels like it's better than a 50-50 ball.
Saints on the field for the first time in a preseason capacity on Sunday. We'll be talking about it next week with Sharief. Thanks, man.
Anytime, Hunt.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.